Because I don't give a fuck anymore, I will be keeping all the copywritten shit in here that I fucking feel like I don't give a fuck. Let's do it.
Sure, this isn't the first time Binger got roasted.
Time to do it to him.
Chaos is a ladder.
It's about governmental corruption, prosecutorial misconduct. This case wouldn't be here but for Binger bringing it. 99 out of 100 prosecutors do not bring these set of charges. And go through Binger. Binger has a history of this in Kenosha. He has a history of people like Binger don't suddenly wake up and start breaking the rules. They don't, accidentally violate somebody's Fifth Amendment rights by accident. They don't accidentally try to suborn perjury. I think he did suborn perjury from the two car source witnesses. There's no way he didn't know they were completely lying and libeling. They effectively helped Grosskreutz hide evidence because they selectively applied Macy's law in a way that prosecutor's office in Kenosha had not done previously.
That was insane.
It was just one after the other, after the other, after the other. But that would have had, I think, more dramatic impact on the court if it had been built up. Because what he was also doing was lying in bail proceedings. I mean, people forget this dimwit, Binger, a little Binger, this corrupt hack, went out and told the court that the Eighth Amendment right to bail he didn't think applied in Wisconsin, the way he interpreted it, the constitutional right to bail. I mean, that was an absurd argument, asinine argument, what he was trying to make a claim toward. So it should have been built up that this guy is a corrupt, rogue prosecutor who's going to go rogue at trial. He's going to make up facts, going to make up law. He said there was a duty to retreat outside the context of provocation in the beginning of his closing. I mean, I had no reason. I have no doubt the jury went back and was like, what exactly is the law?
We've got a joiner.
It's going to be
What up? Hey, Emily, how are you?
I'm good. I'm watching this going, why are we all here today? Because this is all pointless.
Today's a disaster.
And I don't understand. They're putting on witnesses that they don't need. Yes. And then it's hurting them.
Yes.
Badly.
That's a bad day.
All our evidence.
It's a very bad day. I think yesterday was also a bad day for the prosecution, and today's just a horrible day. They've been completely nuked.
This is what you get when you file cases you shouldn't file.
More information about
Agreed.
And, I'm a prosecutor. I like to file things.
I'll ask it to you this way. Any detective.
Like, I like to file things.
Now that about what had happened.
You don't.
Was out there.
Real America's Voice have any sort of political bias or agenda or anything like that? It goes to the bias of the witness.
He wasn't working for them at the time.
Close to speculation.
Bias in what respect? I assume that people.
Did Binger just admit this is a left versus right issue?
Political trial, and
Binger just admitted it was.
He just said it's a political trial.
A person's particular politics, and determine that person is going to evaluate the evidence one way or another.
Okay, I'll move on.
Well, the prosecutor.
No, we're not going to reassess. We're going to march forward. We're going to throw it into the hands of 12 people from the city and let them do our work. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a political case.
There you go.
We can take politics out of it as in Democrat and Republican, but the district attorney's office is marching forward with this case because they need somebody to be responsible. They need somebody to put and say, we did it. He's the person who brought terror to Kenosha. Kyle Rittenhouse is not that individual. The rioters, the demonstrators who turned into rioters, those are the individuals.
I learned that I'll never win. Not that way. That's their game. Their rules. I'm not going to fight them. I'm going to fuck them. That's what I know. That's what I am. And only by admitting what we are can we get what we want.
This guy's terrified. The felonies he's charged with, we're talking several years in a Wisconsin state prison, not county jail, not some community service time. He's facing prison time, and Binger is an unethical piece of literal fucking garbage. I don't care. Look, I'll mitigate a lot of what I say about various lawyers. Binger is garbage, and I will not back down from that. And if he wants to go ahead and challenge me on it, I will bring a can and throw him in it And the can won't protest because it'll be like, you're home, Binger. You're home. You're a piece of garbage. I understand. Dominic Black, he's the one who is stuck dealing with this issue from Binger. I will say on the record, without a hint, Binger, sue me, you motherfucker. This is an unethical, malicious prosecution. It's politically motivated. Binger is a giant piece of shit. He was politically motivated against Kyle. He lost against Kyle because his case is bad. He knew his case was bad, and he tried to lie to bring a fake case against this kid. And now that he doesn't have it, he's going after Dominic Black. Did Binger lie? Yes. Lol, Binger just said
and over and over again.
I mean, and any ethics he has last about 15 minutes at best.
And it was
he's a scumbag.
Little Binger is good at being sleazy. He's not good at recognizing his own limitations or restrictions. He lives in his own little world. That's why you saw him make the mistake. Like, if you'd studied McGinnis at all, you would know to be very careful with him as the prosecution on direct or redirect. And he just walked right into it. McGinnis just smacked him across the face.
It's not clear to me whether he would have fallen or whether he would have caught himself. That's what I meant when I
get
said
wrecked,
At
Binger,
any
you
rate,
bitch.
Your statement in this interview and what you're telling us here today in person is that Mr. Rosenbaum was already falling forward when the defendant shot him.
yes, his momentum was going forward. I don't know this term falling. I just wouldn't use that. So I'm not going to say that because that's not what I.
You actually have said that. I'm using your.
I'm not going to say that right now because I'm clarifying. It's correct. It was a live
Fuck
interview.
you, Binger. Get wrecked, you pussy. Yeah.
Question, but don't comment on the witness.
Get him, Judge.
At any rate.
And he kept doing that.
And Binger is one of these guys. We've all met people like this. He's not stupid. He's a clever guy, sneaky maybe, but he's not nearly as smart as he thinks he is, and that leads him to be vastly over clever and get himself jammed up.
I would describe him as the typical federal prosecutor I've dealt with. You know, smart, probably did decent in law school, knows how to argue certain things, knew how to work the judge well. I mean, for all the yelling that took place, he knew all I got to do is take the yelling, then move it a little, he'll back off.
And also,
he worked the judge very, very effectively in that sense.
And he displayed that over and over again. Every time there was emotion, so many times we would hear the judge come out of the gate in a direction that sounded completely favorable to Kyle. Even when he was talking about that photo evidence, he's like doing his own discovery, saying, "Hey, when I enlarged my phone, I realized that everything became much blurrier here. I don't understand how we're able to trust this thing." And we here on the panel sitting here cheering, like, "Yes, thank God! Finally, he's realizing that these pixels are not enhancing the image, it's making it impossible to tell what the image is actually showing." And Binger just kept adroitly just pushing forward, and not caving in until he basically wrapped Schroeder around his finger for like the 15th time that we had seen over the last couple of weeks. And I think that's Binger's experience with Schroeder personally. He's had like 400 trials in front of him, and he knows how to push Schroeder around and make him pretty much his bitch as far as doing what he wants, even in questions where it's questionable as to whether it's compliant with basic evidence or trial law.
Huh? A very funny man.
Traitor.
Quick temper, slow minds. Knowledge is power.
Do they throw that in at this point?
The prosecution knew him all along. He said he would testify as long as he got immunity for his other crimes. The prosecution didn't want him to testify, so they wouldn't give him immunity. I mean, they've completely controlled who could testify.
But they can't represent to the court that they don't know who he is, which they did.
Oh yeah, they lied, of course. Shock.
I still have hope that I know we're pushing the lines a lot, but I still have hope that he's just not out and out lying to the court and misrepresenting something like that. Maybe I'm a naive person. Maybe this is a sweet summer child.
It's who he is.
Moment.
When someone tells you who they are, Kurt, listen. I mean, he's told us he's a liar from the beginning.
Damn it! I want to have faith in my profession. We're good people.
Oh, you have faith in the profession, just not faith in Binger. Binger has proven himself.
Look around you. We're all liars here. Chaos is a ladder. Many who try to climb it fail, never get to try again. The fall breaks them. And some are given a chance to climb. Only the ladder is real. The climb is
is all there is. There's no justice in the world.
Unless you create personal risk, professional risk for them, you're not creating any disincentive for them not to march forward. Because Binger could lose completely in this case, and the left is going to love him. He'll probably get a CNN contract tomorrow if he wants it, and he'll be on path. And that's why I'm creating my Disbar Binger campaign. Now, it's also because the head of Office of Lawyer Regulation I've had run-ins with before, who runs Wisconsin's ethics for the Wisconsin Supreme Court. And my argument to him for 2 decades now has been he goes after little people and he lets prosecutors walk. And I want to use this case as a test case to force him, Keith Saline, been there a long time, time to step up or prove that I'm right and that, OLR is a joke. Hopefully use it. But that's why I think it has to be done. It's not just a matter, it is tactically necessary to deter and discourage the misuse and abuse of prosecutorial power to put the personal and professional reputation of the prosecutor and investigators themselves at risk.
So hard to do. And if it can't be done, what happens in 5 years when we have the next Kyle Rittenhouse case and the judge in that case is not Schroeder, it's Binger?
Yeah, exactly. And
why would you do that? Why would you say that? That is rude. I'll be right back.
And what you said, Andrew, is that's the norm. That's what we face more like in federal court, and a lot of that you don't get judges like Schroeder. You get judges that are there to railroad your client.
Every time I'm faced with a decision, I close my eyes and see the same picture. A picture of me on the Iron Throne. To go through all of that and make your way home again only to find such chaos in the world. I can only imagine. Chaos is a ladder.
I hate this prosecutor.
Yeah, and it's just so maddening to see him going after people who are obviously innocent. And I can't understand it, and I would love to see a world where that sort of thing was properly punished, where there were actually sanctions that I could expect to see happen for some of this stuff. When we have witnesses getting up there and he says, we didn't ask you to change your testimony, and the witness is going, yeah, you did.
Binger offered a compromise plea deal of only one felony count. Right. So this motherfucker, he overcharges. He knows he's overcharging.
They always do that.
He offers the plea deal to get rid of the overcharge and go back to the original would-be proper charge if you could support it factually, but you can't.
There is no freaking hole deep enough for this scummy prosecutor who basically doesn't give a damn about people, about justice, about right or wrong. It's just, how do I better myself politically, economically, social standing? And it's just abuse and prosecutorial abuse with knowledge that this whole damn town is some family-run shenanigan, and they're basically completely slimy assholes. That's what it is. They're just completely slimy assholes. And there's no comeuppance. No one's looking into it and saying like, oh wow, we really should. Nothing's going to happen to him for all the prosecutorial abuses which happened during this past trial, which were just shocking and stunning, and Fifth Amendment violations, basic civil liberties, not giving over proper evidence and doctoring up evidence and ignoring judge instructions about bringing in stuff that's clearly prejudicial and inadmissible, one thing after another. And all the signs we get, every sign we get is that he's able to walk this road because he knows there will never, ever, ever be anyone who questions this crap that he pulls, and that he can get away with without any possible repercussion. It's disgusting.
I agree.
When did he get a lawyer? Remember? After he met with Mr. Krause and Mr. Binger.
That rapid
Mr.
blinking
Binger, the person who's made it his personal goal of putting my client's head on his wall.
Nice.
Ladies and gentlemen,
well said.
That's what it did.
Gotcha.
And it means he's been cutting corners.
Ooh.
Nathan DeBrune said,
Yes, here we go.
after meeting with Mr. Binger, I was very uncomfortable. He tried to put words in my mouth. And he had to go and hire a lawyer to protect him. First, it was show him the videos and then ask him the questions, trying to put words in his mouth. He didn't want that to happen. He wanted to be able to tell his story of what he knew, what he did.
Binger is an absolute embarrassment because he absolutely knew that he couldn't ask those first questions. I'm talking about like not even just, you know, who you like or who you think is going to win, but when he asked those questions, the first questions about, you know, why was he silent before and didn't he? And I was like, why is he asking him about him being silent? That doesn't make any sense. He has a Fifth Amendment right, and then when he stopped, because to show you how bad it was, I didn't realize how bad it was until the judge stopped it. And I was like, oh my God, he's right. This is a Fifth Amendment violation. And it just was like, this is an experienced prosecutor in front of this judge multiple times. And even the judge was like, when you said it, it was just so astonishing. I just didn't even know what the hell you were doing. And at this point, this is why people lose faith in our criminal justice system. Because when prosecutors do something like that, that's overtly just unethical, to be honest with you. I'll say it. Fuck, it's unethical. It's just like, why? For what reason?
He should be disbarred.
For what reason?
He should be disbarred. He should be fired tomorrow, and he should be disbarred a week later. If we can go after Rudy Giuliani on some, you know, random comments, this prosecutor violating somebody's Fifth Amendment rights in the highest profile case Kenosha ever has, if the Wisconsin Office of Lawyer Regulation has any courage and any conscience, he will be disbarred before the year is out.
Agreed.
The
and
court said
yet we know it'll never happen. We know there's zero chance it's going to happen.
The court said, did they say gross constitutional violation?
Grave.
Grave.
Was it
He
grave?
said you went over the line. He said you went over the line. And when the judge is saying, you kind of didn't go, they said, well, you did go over the line. Why is this case even still going on? You know, at what point is like, what are we doing then, Judge? He's literally, you're saying he violated this kid's rights, constitutional rights, right? Why are we still here then? And then it goes on the propensity. Propensity stuff was crazy too. It's like
the propensity.
Why are you bringing up propensity evidence? What's wrong with this guy?
But I think the
move it. I only saw the highlight. They should move for a mistrial with dismissal with prejudice, because what that prosecutor did was a patent violation of Fifth Amendment rights as more than half a century of law. The case should be dismissed with prejudice because it's a mistrial created by prosecutorial misconduct.
He's picking up the
One
books
and
to throw
two,
them at the
He
prosecutor.
should be fired from the prosecutor's office if the prosecutor's office has a iota of ethics in it. We're going to find out whether the Kenosha DA has an iota of ethics in it, because this was a high-profile trial in which his prosecutor went up and patently violated Fifth Amendment rights, an established precedent that's been around for more than 50 years. And third, this prosecutor, if the Wisconsin State Bar and OLR, Office of Lawyer Regulation, has any moral consistency, has any conscience at all, will disbar his ass, as should be the case, because what he did was a patent, flagrant Fifth Amendment violation that cannot withstand any degree of scrutiny.
Robert, what I love is you're as mad as I was when this went down. And for people who don't know, I'm a former prosecutor. You're a criminal defense attorney. All attorneys should be outraged by that.
Yes.
Binger, I would have gotten that win if it weren't for those pesky laws.
They really need like Arya Stark and making a kill list.
Have my sister brought to the Great Hall.
Are you sure you want to do this?
It's not what I want. It's what honor demands.
And what does honor demand?
That I defend my family from those who would harm us. That I defend the North from those who would betray us.
All right, then. Get on with it.
How do you answer these charges?
Little Binger. Remember, Dominic Black went in for the state, and I guarantee you, I guarantee without a hint of doubt that Dominic Black's attorney had talked to Thomas Claire Binger and had made some sort of not official deal, but a partial deal, because my little stupid ego is hurt because I couldn't win against Kyle, but I'm going to bury you, even though you testified for me against your brother. What a fucker Thomas Binger is.
That's what you do, isn't it? That's what you've always done. Turn family against family.
I loved you more than anyone.
And yet you betrayed me.
He really was a cunt, wasn't he?
Someone who uses that gun in unreasonable circumstances, and there's
unreasonable
an agenda here. So we hear one side, but we weren't allowed to hear the other side. And that's
you know what?
They weren't allowed to hear the other side. Unbelievable! How could that happen in America? What a racist country,
guys! In a sanely ordered world, though, I'm going to hope for this. I want that little shit to have to defend himself.
I don't.
But see, I'm vindictive.
I just want Binger to have a long and happy career managing an Applebee's. Like that's.
Oh wow, you are a mean bastard.
You are.
I just wanted to kill him.
I thought you said you didn't want him to have to defend himself. That was cruel as shit.
I was just going to put him in prison, subject to other pedophiles, but you went right to Applebee's.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's always those quiet ones that you.
I know.
Have you ever seen an Applebee's manager just sitting there over those discount rib tips at the end of his shift, crying into a beer, trying to make it taste better? Oh my god.
The girls just spit on him.